Hello and welcome back to Eliminate SQL series. As we continue, we have completed select from where, and some of the operators, count as an aggregate function, distinct. These are something which we have covered. Now let's move to the next keyword, post select. So we'll use group by. So till now we have seen select everything from the table. Okay, there is another way of using this also, employees dot. You see, as you enter employees, then dot, which is the table that you want to refer to, employees dot employees. Where is that you have already used, right? Say gender equals to male, and then this at least first two, that is select and from, are mandatory. Select some column name or select everything from table is mandatory. From where, it becomes based on the question that you are answering, based on the problem that you want to solve. Select from where. Again, we have the next is group by. So we are getting all the males and we need to group them by what? First name would not make much sense. Let's say hire date. So when we use this, there's one thing, this will throw you an error. So you cannot use group by directly, because if you want to group it by something, that means you need to have some aggregate function. Because if you are grouping it by, say, male and female, if you want to make it simple, let's take off the where clause, because these are not mandatory clause. But let me first do a count star and then explain to you how this works. Group by hire date. So this is not giving you any answer as such, so I'm just putting hire date here so that it's very clear. Hire date and then this. So what we had is, we have 48 employees who were hired on this particular date. We have 45 employees who were hired on this particular date, 28 of 8 of 1986. So this is how group by works. So group by is in itself aggregating by some group. By what we have to group? We have to give some column name, some reference based on which we have to group. Otherwise it will not give you or yield you any result. So it will throw you error. So we have to use group by only when you are using some aggregate measure. Okay, that should be very clearly put into our mind. So if I don't put hire date, you have seen that you just get the count column, which again, it's not readable, right? You are not able to understand what it is. So these are all only male now. Now if you want to get how many male and how many female are there in the employees table, so let's do select. So the question is, how many female and male are there in employees table, right? Select, say we'll put gender. So gender is the one which is distinguishing male and female, right? Comma, count. You can put count star because you're just counting the number of rows, everything. So whatever comes as count star. Count star you can name as this count of employee. Okay, then from employees. Okay, where is not required, not mandatory. So group, but group by is required because you have used count. Now if you don't put that, what you'll get, let's see, in aggregate query without group by expression, so there is an error coming in because you have used an aggregate function and a column, gender and an aggregate. If it's only count star, then it's okay because it will just count the rows and give you. But now that you have used gender and then count star, then it throws you an error. So now you have to go by. This is what you have to practice. Why and why not? So you can do that. Then I have to group it by gender. Then only I can get count for each gender. So now you get these many males and these many females are there in our employees database. So that's the crux of it. So this was group by. We had a question earlier. Let's see if we can solve that now. How many employees do we have with salary greater than 50,000 or salary greater than 30,000, right? but we were then getting all the employees, right, repeatedly. So let's solve that problem. Now that we know group by, you have to think from that idea. Let's do a select star, okay, count star, let me put count star, okay, from salaries, then where salary greater than 50,000. So we got 7,35,398 count of rows where salary is greater than 50,000, right? Now what we want is, we know that we can group it by what? Group it by employee numbers, right? So let's do employee number, comma, count star, let it be count star. Now that we have put employee number and we have an aggregate function, we keep the where, because this is again next adding a layer to it. We had a question where we want all the employees whose salary is greater than 50,000, right? So now this employee number where, and then we use group by employee number. So this is the only column which aggregate is not used. So all the columns which are not used in aggregate has to be used in group by. Only then it will give you the result. Now you see, this is the employee, and this count is just like we have multiple rows, right, for each employee. So these many times the salary was greater than 50,000. So this count is basically not required here. We need only the count of employees. The number of rows is basically, we have 89,000 employees whose salary is greater than 50,000, right? But then if you want to go one step further to build on top of this, right? So now we want only employees whose salary is greater than 50,000. Okay, this is done. Now we want only the count of employees, number of employees whose salary is greater than, okay. So to do that, how can you solve that? Here, can you think of something? Yeah, so we introduce here a basics. We'll dwell deeper into this just to introduce subquery, right? Now that you have a table, this is how you frame a subquery. Now that you have a table which gives you the result of all employees, all employee IDs where salary is greater than 50,000, right? These are all unique employees because you have grouped it by employee number. So only once the employee will be present in this. In subquery, what we'll do, we'll just do select count star from. So this is a from part, and then we'll copy the entire thing, that output we have already got, okay, and then we'll put this in a bracket here as say any name, alias name, you can just give it. So we have, see, the same one row it is returned, but we earlier had 89,000 rows. Now the same has become a count. We are just getting one output, that is, this many employees are there whose salary is greater than 50,000. So this is known as subquery. This is how it basically looks. Select, then count star, from, then the subquery. So you can design it in any way. So that's the beauty of SQL language. So subquery is nothing but a query inside a query. So first the subquery will get executed, this part of it, the first output that you have already seen. From there, you're just counting the number of rows. As simple as that. So this is using group by. So thank you for watching. See you with next session on SQL series. Please provide your valuable feedbacks and support the channel by subscribing and liking the sessions.